I want to talk to you about FundKite, and FundKite is actually a pretty interesting business lender that you need to really know about this year if you are really serious about your business funding program. What I love about FundKite is that the company is a direct lender, so you don't have a lot of direct lenders when it comes to business funding. Some of them are direct lenders, but some are loan marketplaces. They are like middlemen, but FundKite is actually a direct lender. Now, FundKite specializes in they specialize in only one funding program. That's MCA. So FundKite is an MCA provider. Okay, so merchant cash advance. So if you're interested in that kind of funding program, I want you to really listen to watch this show from beginning till the end because I'll be telling you how to really qualify for a larger MCA advance through FundKite. Okay, and so basically, this company focuses on accessible funding with fast approvals and funding time. Okay, within 24 to 48 hours. And the cool thing about MCAs in general is that you don't need to really worry about your credit score. You don't need to worry about how much revenue you established last year or 10 years ago. No, because MCAs really care mostly about your ongoing revenue. Okay, so this is important. So FundKite actually provides advances up to $2 million. Think about that, from $10,000 all the way to $2 million. And basically, the company launched 10 years ago. Company launched in 2015, and for the last 10 years, they have funded over nearly $1 billion in transactions. Okay, they are headquartered in Miami, Florida, with an additional New York office. So they're pretty well established. Okay, they've been here. They have a proven track record. They've been here for 10 years, and they actually finance all kinds of industries. Okay, so that's really good. What they really care about is your sales. They really care about your actual sales, your actual sales. Let's say your ongoing sales, not your historical revenue amount. Let me go a little more granular here. So if you think about FundKite, what kind of specifics should you be paying attention to? So this funder, I think I've said this before, they only offer a single product. They only offer a merchant cash advance. Okay, advance amounts up to $2 million, and terms you're looking at maximum of 220 to 240 days. So that's about 9 months to 10 months. Sometimes, 18 months to 24 months. In terms of funding time, that's what I love a lot. With FundKite, you have the possibility to be funded real fast. So you can be funded in as little as 24 hours. Okay, this is really good. So if you think about an MCA, a merchant cash advance, I want you to think about a funding program that provides your business funding as an upfront sum of cash to purchase future receivables. That's why I said MCA providers don't care about sales that you had 2 years ago or 10 years ago. They care about sales that you have now or in the future. So an MCA is actually a short-term solution designed to help you meet urgent needs. Now, MCAs can be very expensive when it comes to the fees, okay? But the thing is that you get the cash fast, okay? You get you get the cash fast. So with an MCA, you don't talk about APR. You don't talk about annual percentage rate. You talk about something called factor rate. Factor rate, okay? And FundKite calls it buy rate, but it's the same thing. A factor rate is the same thing as a buy rate. So basically, it's typically the norm to have a factor rate of 1.2. In other words, you are paying like 20% interest, if you will, on the amount that you actually the amount of cash you receive through your accounts receivable. Okay, so FundKite determines your advanced amounts, buy rate, and terms based on your previous sales history and the strength of your credit profile. So you can use actually funds for most business needs, such as payroll, remodeling, inventory, okay, working capital, expansion, marketing, equipment purchases. So that's pretty wide. So I love that. So what are the qualifications for a FundKite this year? What makes you qualify for the program? So the cool thing is that FundKite is pretty open. They have no major restrictions. Okay, they welcome business owners of all credit scores. So if you have a bad credit, if you have good credit, if you have fair credit, if you have excellent credit, you can be a good customer of FundKites. They also have no discrimination, if you will, quote unquote discrimination, in terms of time in business or even revenue. Okay, so basically, FundCat does not set any minimum requirements at all. So, one thing for sure, when you apply, you will provide access to your business bank account. So, they will use a platform called a Plod to analyze your cash inflows and cash outflows. Okay, so they will analyze your credit profile and the strength of your business when making decisions. And this is important. And one thing I need to understand here is that you got to have verifiable revenue for FundKite to approve you, to even consider your application. Okay, this is an important element. And one thing I want to say also is that FundKite will give you the cash within 24 hours, but you have to pay for it. Okay, either through a buy rate or other fees. Okay, and one thing I want to say is that if approved for an MCA at FundKite, ensure, and this is an important element, ensure that your revenue streams can handle the repayment structure. You will repay the advance with a percentage of your revenue, which can affect your cash flow and profits. Okay, so this is important. Now, while the company markets to many industries, there are a few restrictions. So companies in the following industries are not eligible for a FundKite MCA. So if you are in debt settlements, you're not interested for FundKite. If you're doing something around digital currency like crypto, you're not interested to FundKite. If you are in gambling, if your business involves gambling, you're not interested to FundKite because they just see you as a high risk sector. If you are a financial institution, FundKite is not interested in doing business with you. Also, same thing with lending. Okay, so this is something to really think about. And but overall, anything else, FundKite will appreciate your business, not a problem. So, how do you apply to FundKite this year? How do you really make sure you get your cash if you're interested in their MCA program? First thing first, you want to submit an application. So the application is about 2 to 3 pages. Okay, it will take you somewhere from 5 to 10 minutes. It can be lengthy. So you'll enter your business information, including the contact info and your tax ID. You will also enter how much you are looking for and I mean what you intend to use the funds for. You also enter personal information about yourself. You will upload your four to six most recent business bank statements. You need to confirm the information and submit the application. So pretty straightforward application process. And so basically, they will take some time to review your application. Some time meaning 24 to 48 hours to review your application. And if you are approved, FundKite will send you an offer. Carefully consider the amount, buy rates, terms, and other information. Take the time to ensure the repayment structure will work because this thing can be costly. This MCA thing can be costly, okay? And you may need to submit additional business documents to confirm some information and complete the underwriting process. So things like a certificate of good standing, for instance, or your most recent annual report, or even your tax return, your 1065, your 1120S, or your 1120. And then after that, you get funded. So really straightforward, nothing really complicated. So post funding, The repayment is actually processed with an ACH transfer from your business bank account or via credit card transactions. There are no fixed payments, okay? Instead, what happens here is that repayment is based on the percentage of your sales. So if your holdback rate is, let's say, 15%, they will basically apply the holdback based on that percentage, and the final amount will depend on the type of the amount of sales you generate. So, what are the advantages and the disadvantages of FundKite this year? So, the major advantage of FundKite is that there is no credit check, and also you have the possibility to be approved faster. Okay, there are some cases where you can even have same day approval. Yeah, I've seen in the last 10 years that basically FundKite has approved borrowers within 18 hours, within 10 hours, within 12 hours. So you can complete the application quickly and potentially receive a same day approval. And once approved, you can get your funds within 24 hours. So if you need the cash for something important, if you need the cash for something urgent, something that your business needs to do urgently, maybe pay a supplier or pay make payroll, for instance. Basically, FundCard can be reliable in that sense. And also another plus here is that the advanced amounts can go all the way to $2 million. This is really cool. I mean, $2 million, that's really cool. And you get a dedicated support team member, okay? And there is no minimum FICO score to actually apply. The disadvantages, if you think about FundKite, basically the cost is the most significant disadvantage, okay? MCAs are one of the most expensive business funding products available. Between the high rates, short terms, and frequent repayments, the cost can strain your cash flow, especially if you are in a very competitive industry where you need cash on a constant basis to replenish your company's coffers to refinance your business, okay? And you cannot estimate also the cost of a FundKite MCA because it doesn't disclose its rates and fees. Okay, so this is one of those things where you have to apply and get an offer before seeing what it will cost you, and maybe at that point it might be already late because you wouldn't have had the opportunity to compare and contrast things beforehand. So, what are the pros and cons here? If you think about FundKite funding this year, what kind of pros and cons should you keep in mind? On the plus side, you will love what I just said. $2 million maximum. That's really good. I mean, in this economy, having the possibility to get $2 million in business funding from whatever source, a bank, credit union, or an MCA provider, is really good. It can really can offer you a lot of breathing room. There is no minimum credit score to apply, so if you happen to have bad credit, if you happen to have a low FICO score, or you have whatever happened in your credit history, bankruptcy, whatever, you still can be approved, okay? And you can get your cash within 24 hours. That's really cool. I mean, the same day approval process is totally a big win here. On the flip side, basically, you have to understand that an MCA can introduce some disruption to your cash flow because it requires a frequent repayment process. It requires a frequent repayment process. On short terms, it can be 3 months, it can be 6 months, it can be 12 months. Okay, and FundCard is pretty secretive when it comes to the rates, when it comes to the buy rates or even fees. And there is also no information on prepayment penalties or early payment discounts. So this is something to really think about. If you have an early payment discount, I mean, you could be saving money, but FundCard is not giving you that option. Okay, but overall, the biggest drawback here is the fact that an MCA can cost big amount of cash. I mean, don't think that the APR is the same as the factor rate. No, if you have a 20%, if you have 20% factor rate, it could translate to an APR of 100% or 200%, depending on how long you are looking at it. Okay, so this is something to really think about. Don't. But yeah, MCAs are significantly more expensive than other funding products. So if you think about FundKite this year, I want you to think about the fact that the company is a legit company. Okay, it's a legit merchant cash advance funder. Okay, they only focus on merchant cash advance. They don't do business loans. They don't do business lines of credit. They don't do equipment financing. They don't do SBA loans. All that kind of stuff. They focus on MCAs and that's it. Okay, so this is you can say, well, this is a good thing, or you can say this is a bad thing. But at least they were pretty sure as to what they need to accomplish to actually generate revenue. And the company has had a proven track record in the last few years. So I love that part a lot. I love the fact that you also have the possibility to reach out to someone if you have questions. You can really talk to a loan rep, and the funding rep can answer all your questions. So this is kind of cool. And if FundKite, God forbid, denies you, you have the possibility to actually apply elsewhere. Okay. One thing for sure, when they deny you, they will explain why they denied you. They might even give you a way to reapply again. Okay. Like they might say, well, we want you to remedy this and that. And then once you do, contact us again. So you might get a chance to reapply at FundKite. But if not, just take your business, your borrowing business elsewhere. Okay, you can go to another lender that can approve you for a larger array of business funding programs, not just MCAs, but you can have things like working capital loans, bad credit business loans, revenue based financing, invoice factoring, SBA loans, business lines of credit, business term loans, ERTC advances. So you have more choices, if you will. So overall, in terms of making your decision, FundCard is best suited for small business owners who can't qualify for traditional financing, have an urgent funding need, and only need a single product. Okay, so it's also suited for business owners who are okay with applying without knowing the rate or fee ranges. So if you are interested in having a funding program that focuses on MCAs only, and you don't want the lender to check your credit or whatever, go for FundKite. So as an epilogue into this conversation, I spoke to you about FundKite. I told you what the company stood for, I mean, or stands for, what they do, how they do it, what the qualifications are for their funding programs, and how to apply, as well as the pros and cons. Thank you so much. God bless you. I will see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.